Hi there. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm so excited that you're here. Today's episode of Wealthbeing promises to be so informative and very interesting. We're going to be talking about three major things. First, we will talk about financial literacy, what it means, and why you should be financially literate. We're going to talk about financial fitness, what it means, and why it is important as well. Then we will take time to pay focused attention on how to set your financial goals today. Financial literacy is not common at all. It is not common. We have a lot of wealthy people, but again, you would find that a lot of them are not really financially literate. Some people are wealthy because they inherited the money. Some are wealthy because they stumbled upon it. Some are wealthy. They are actually putting into practice the principles of creating wealth or growing wealth, but they cannot really articulate it. They don't quite understand it, but they're living it and practicing it. Now, there have been a lot of studies that have put together these principles, and they're very important. So as the weeks roll by and we keep, talking from time to time in various episodes, starting from today's episode, we will share a lot about these principles, but we must first of all lay the right foundation. So financial literacy, in my own simple terms, mean understanding how money works, understanding how to create wealth, understanding how to grow wealth, and understanding how to preserve wealth. Those three things, very critical: creating, growing, and preserving of wealth. Knowing how to do these three things, for me, that is financial literacy. But if I'm to define it generally speaking, financial literacy basically means gaining the requisite knowledge and skills that would enable you make informed and effective decisions with respect to your financial resources. Gaining the requisite knowledge and skills. Why? To enable you make informed financial decisions. That's why I said that there are people that have money, but they really don't understand money. Because it's important to know how to create wealth. It's important to know how to invest to grow your wealth. And then it's important to know how to preserve the wealth that you've already created and you've grown over the years. So, like I said, we're going to share these principles as you stay with me on this our wealth journey. Now, financial fitness. Basically, these days, everybody talks about health and wellness. Everybody talks about physical fitness, and the purpose is to elongate life. You want to live a full, healthy, and a long life. So, mirror that with respect to your finances. You want to make money, and you want to make money for a very long time. You want to get to a point where you would feel at ease, with your money over a very long period of time. So financial fitness is important. Now, usually when I talk about financial fitness, I relate it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you've ever come across that concept, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's presented in a pyramid. So I'm sure it will pop on the screen shortly. Yes, it's presented in a pyramid form, where at the rock bottom, you have the basic needs. So you have needs like, I have 5 basic financial needs on my list that I call the basic rock bottom financial needs. When you're able to put food on your table, you're able to put clothes on your back, and you're able to put a shelter over your head, and then you're able to transport yourself from place to place. And finally, you're able to educate yourself, educate your children or your dependents. For me, these 5 needs are basic. If you struggle to meet any of them, then you are not financially fit. You're yet to be financially stable. If you lose your source of income today, I'll ask you, how long are you going to last? How long are you going to be able to maintain the same standard of living, put food on your table, eat the same kind of food, generally do the same things that you do now that you're maybe working or you're in business, if you lose your source of income, if you're not able to survive 6 months up to 1 year, you're definitely not financially fit. But all hope's not lost. That's why we're on this journey, because there are lessons that are important that we must learn. We would learn from the people that we would discuss about maybe as we go along with respect to the certain principles that we're discussing that we'll discuss episode to episode, you know. And then we'll talk about, for instance, when you get to meet your bankers, you have a conversation. Say you're running a business and you have a meeting with your banker and they come up with an offer. What do you look out for? Because a lot of people, after engaging their bankers, they get overwhelmed because there's so many things the bankers talk about. There's so many, bankers jargon that bankers talk about, and you have no clue as to what they're talking about. And then at the end of the transaction, you feel that you've been taken advantage of, or that the bankers have made so much money off you, or the banker didn't explain it properly to you. But if you're financially literate, you'll be able to have these intelligent discussions with your banker, right? So we'll learn these things as we go along. So we've talked about financial literacy, why it's important. We've talked about financial fitness. Now we're going to pay focused attention on the third part of our discussion today, which is how to set your financial goals. Goals, that's where you want to be. If you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the very bottom, I talked about the basic needs. But at the apex, you have self-actualization. That is when you say your dream has come true. That's the highest point. That's the best thing that would ever happen to anybody. When you get to a point of your dream coming true, that is self-actualization. You can actually apply it to any aspect of your life, but with respect to your finances, where you want to be, where you desire and dream to be, that if you get there today, you would be the happiest person on earth. That is self-actualization, really. Now, when you talk about finances, I mentioned earlier on when I was talking, when we're talking about financial fitness, we talked about financial stability, that if you can meet your needs, assume your source of income ceases today, and you can maintain the same standard of living for the next 12 months, that you're financially stable. There's financially secure. That's financial security. There's financial independence. And at the top, you have financial freedom. Financial freedom is that self-actualization point where you can be who you want to be. A lot of people are stuck on their jobs, not because they love it, not because they want to be there, but they're not financially secure, they're not financially independent. Financial freedom is when you get to a level where you call the shots, right? Where you are fulfilled, where you would live how you want to live, you live where you want to live, you live how you want to live, you go where you want to go, you do the things you want to do, and you live the life that you love to live. Is it possible? Yes, all things are possible to him that believes. I strongly believe that. And I know that by observation and by experience that it is possible to move from one level to another. As you are growing and going on your wealth journey, you would find out that you're closer to your self-actualization dream than you've ever been before. But all it takes is hard work. All it takes is consistency. All it takes is focused attention. So let's get back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, which is how to set your financial goals. Now, your goal is where you want to be, but we're going to put it within a time frame. So we're going to take this year, right? So you're going to set your financial goals for this year. So we're going to make it a bit practical. So you get your pen and paper, or you bring out your iPad or your phone, or whatever it is you want to write on. So you're going to itemize 5 financial goals this year. If 5 would be too much for you, you can put down 3. Now, if you've learned anything about goals, I will tell you this is very key. Your goals are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to be specific. They're supposed to be measurable. They're supposed to be achievable. They're supposed to be realistic, and they're supposed to be time bound. So let's say this year 2019, I want to be able to save 30 million naira by the end of the year, or 3 million naira by the end of the year, or 300,000 naira by the end of the year, depending on what you really desire to achieve or accomplish by the end of this year. Now, my saying I want to be able to save 30 million naira by the end of this month is a specific goal. That is a specific goal. Is it measurable? Yes, because it's metric. 30 million naira is metric. 30 is measurable, of course. But if I had said, oh, I want to be happier by the end of this year, what does that even mean? It means happier, but how do you measure it? What are you going to use to measure happiness? So it is a bit vague. So whatever you're writing down, I want to be richer this year, it doesn't make sense. It's vague. But I want by the end of this year to have been able to save 3 million or 30 million. So I'll take a figure, 30 million. So it's specific, it is measurable, yes. Is it achievable? That's the next question. Now, if my income, I'm employed and I earn 100,000 naira and that's all my source of income, is it possible for me to save 30 million naira? Is it really achievable? The answer is no. If I earn 100,000 naira, I must be able to work out what is achievable and important, right? That's important. So I want to be able to save 30 million. It's not possible. So I could say I'm going to change my job, right? I'm going to get a job that will pay me such and such amount so that I will be able to save such and such amount so that I can meet my goal for the year. That is possible. If it's achievable, you would know. If it is realistic, you would know that. It is possible to change jobs, but you would know depending on your field. So these are things that you need to, it is actually a personal and introspective exercise. It is important that you do that. Right, so if I earn 100,000 and I save 10%, I recommend that if you're paid X amount every month, you should save a minimum, nothing less than 10%. Then, if you can, do 20%. But 10% is, for me, sacrosanct. Save 10% in the minimum. So if I'm saving 10%, by the end of the year, I'll have only 120,000. Assume I didn't start saving by the end of the year, and I started saving in the month of April, then it's not possible for me to have 120,000 unless I increase my savings, right? So instead of saving 10% of my 100,000, I could choose to save 15,000 or 15% out of the 100,000. So these are things that you need to work out, right? So, but let's say I'm a contractor and my profit margin, let's say I'm a contractor, my profit margin per contract is maybe 10 million. Then I can work out my plan such that, okay, I'm going to work on getting 3 contracts this year. And from each of these contracts, I would save 10 million. It's possible, right? Or I would work on having 5 contracts. Out of these 5 contracts, I would save 10 million from 3 contracts. Or you break it down in sizes that are achievable and realistic. Now, time bound, because we're putting it in the encasement of 2019 as a year, we have given it time. It's not an open-ended goal, it is time bound. So by 31st December, we will take stock of what we've done, what we've been able to achieve against our goal from this time of the year. So you're going to sit down and introspect and ask yourself these questions and write down 3 to 5 goals, financial goals that you want to achieve this year. Like I said before, I believe that all things are possible. And there's a saying that when one wakes up, it is his morning. It doesn't matter that we're already 3 months gone, or 4 months gone, or several months gone into the year of into this year, 2019, or whenever it is you're watching this video. You know, that doesn't really matter. You can start from today. What is most important is, gaining the discipline of doing these things step by step, line upon line, precept upon precept, and before you know it, you're at your destination. So I want to encourage you today. Don't be disappointed. Don't feel flustered. Don't feel overwhelmed. You can make that money that you dream to make. Not because you're going to get it from the clouds or you're going to take it from somebody else, but you're going to create it because you're going to learn the principles of wealth creation and we will apply it and we'll see your dreams come true. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful you stayed till the end of this video, and the next episode promises to be so exciting. I look forward to having a very informative time with you. Thanks again, and bye for now.